The NFL draft is, and of itself, a crapshoot. There's a reason that about a third of first-round picks are good/star players, the other third are middle-of-the-road guys, and the last one-third are bust. But during the first night of the draft, every player is the same. Just excited to hear their name and hear that their dream of making it to the NFL has finally been accomplished. Well, at least that's what you think.
With the 10th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Josh Rosen, quarterback, UCLA.
Joshua Bollinger Lippincott Rosen was born in Torrance, California on February 10, 1997. His two parents, Charles and Liz, qualified for the Winter Olympics and was the captain of the Princeton women's lacrosse team, respectively. Josh grew up playing tennis, becoming the number one ranked 12-year-old in Southern California, sporting a 100-plus mile-per-hour serve, and cracking the top 50 list nationally. He was introduced to football by a friend, and right before beginning his freshman year at the prestigious St. John Bosco High School in Bellflower, California, Josh switched from playing tennis to football. This would prove to be a great decision. As a senior, Josh threw for 3,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions on his way to being named Player of the Year by the Los Angeles Times. Josh was on top of the world. He was rated a 5-star quarterback and the second best quarterback in the country by Rivals.com, right behind Alabama commit Blake Barnett. I wonder who was right behind Josh in the rankings, though. Well, this is awkward. Anyways, Josh elected to stay close to home and attend UCLA. He enrolled early to begin taking classes, and so that he could take part in spring practices with the team. With a wide-open quarterback room, following the 3-year starter Brett Huntley being drafted to the Green Bay Packers in round 5 of the 2015 draft, head coach Jim Mora knew that he would have to make a decision between either Josh or Jerry Neuheisel. Wait, Jerry Neuheisel? Why does that name sound so familiar? Josh ended up winning the starting quarterback job for the number 13 ranked Bruins heading into the 2015 season. And in his starting debut, the first game of the season, Josh was absolutely surgical against the Virginia Cavaliers, going 28 for 35 with 351 yards and 3 touchdowns in an 18-point home win. Josh would win the Pac-12 Freshman Offensive Player of the Year award as he led the Bruins to an 8-5 record. Sadly, though, he would miss most of his sophomore year due to a shoulder injury, forcing him to leave a game versus Arizona State and get surgery to repair it. His junior year was his coming out party, though, and he made sure that he was going to start strong. In what can only be described as a video game-like season opener, the score was 38-10 in Texas A&M's favor at halftime. But in the second half, behind Rosen's 35 for 49, 491 yard, and 4 touchdown performance, it set UCLA up with a chance to win with 48 seconds remaining. this game, Josh Rosen began flying up draft boards. And it helped that he had a pretty cool nickname, dubbed Chosen Rosen. He finished his UCLA career with over 9,000 yards, 53 touchdowns, and 23 interceptions. And after missing UCLA's loss in the Cactus Bowl against Kansas State, Rosen entered his name into the 2018 NFL Draft. The Arizona Cardinals at this point in their franchise were 2 years removed from making the NFC title game, but with collapsing and missing the playoffs at 7-8-1 the previous year, they were banking on making a return to the playoffs while they still had their quarterback and wide receiver dynamic duo of Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald. However, aged 38 and 34 respectively, the Cardinals knew that they needed to keep the future in mind. One way they did this was in the third round of the 2015 NFL Draft, where they selected running back David Johnson, who placed fourth in Offensive Rookie of the Year voting in 2015 and was a Pro Bowler and first-team All-Pro in 2016. A quarterback by committee of Palmer, Drew Stanton, and Blaine Gabbert kept the Cardinals level at 8-8, finishing third in the division and missing the playoffs for the second straight year after their NFC title game appearance in 2015. After the 2016 season, Carson Palmer and Bruce Arians, head coach of the Cardinals, announced their retirements. And with the Cardinals slated into the 15th overall pick, they knew that to get their guy, first-year head coach Steve Wilks would need to trade up. Coming into the draft, Rosen was praised for his size, mechanics, footwork, and ability to be extremely accurate and aggressive on medium-level throws down the middle of the field. However, Rosen had several glaring weaknesses, most notably grumblings of immaturity issues leaking out of UCLA. The first major story was of Rosen having a hot tub in his dorm room. Is this necessarily problematic? Not really. However, it raised alarm bells of NFL GMs that Rosen wasn't the biggest fan of playing by the rules, an issue, when left unchecked, can derail the stability of an NFL locker room by creating unnecessary headlines during the season. Rosen was also publicly against amateurism in college sports, explaining that education from an institution being a player's form of compensation was unjust. This was back before the installation of NIL, so Rosen's stance, which would now draw praise from an athlete-first mentality, was actually seen as a statement declaring that he wasn't thankful to UCLA for providing him with a free 4-year education. Couple that with a few bad stories, a few misinterpreted quotes, and his physical limitations, including his lack of mobility, durability concerns, as he missed significant time due to multiple concussions, and his aforementioned shoulder tear, and overall mid-tier arm talent, and the cracks in Rosen's draft hype began to expose themselves. However, this didn't stop the Arizona Cardinals. Both Steve Wilks and general manager Steve Keim knew Rosen was their guy and traded up with the Oakland Raiders from pick 15 to pick 10 to select Rosen. Josh later admitted in an interview that he was extremely frustrated being the fourth quarterback drafted so far, but expressed that as soon as he learned it was the Cardinals that drafted him, all of those negative feelings melted away into pure excitement. Little did Josh know, his most infamous moment in the NFL would take place just a few short minutes after being drafted.
There were 9 mistakes made ahead of me, and I'll make sure over in the next decade or so that they'll know they made the mistakes.
Josh would begin training camp in 2018 as the second quarterback on the depth chart, with veteran Sam Bradford inking a one-year, $20 million deal. During the same offseason, Josh was drafted. However, in Week 3 against the Chicago Bears, first-year head coach Steve Wilks of the 0-2 Cardinals decided he had seen enough of Sam Bradford, who by that point had led the Cardinals offense to just 20 total points through the first 2.5 games of the season. So, Josh Rosen made his NFL debut to the tune of 4-7 passing, 36 yards, and an interception. His signature win would come against the Green Bay Packers in Week 13, dispatching them with a 20-17 win on the road. A win that would cost Super Bowl winning head coach Mike McCarthy his job. Rosen would finish his rookie year going just 3-10 as a starter, and watching the Cardinals go 3-13 overall, clinching the number 1 overall pick for the first time since Alaska had been introduced as a state. Josh would finish his rookie year with 2,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. And by the end, it was no secret what the Cardinals were planning on doing. Couple that with the firing of Steve Wilks at the end of his first year at the helm, it became abundantly clear what new head coach Cliff Kingsbury was about to do, especially with a surefire quarterback prospect at the top of the class. You know, I wonder what his name is. After Kyler Murray was drafted, Rosen was dealt to the Dolphins for a 2019 second-round pick and a 2020 fifth-round pick. He'd start 3 games in relief of Ryan Fitzpatrick the following year, throwing for 567 yards, 1 touchdown, and 5 interceptions. This would be the beginning of the end of Rosen's career in the NFL, having stints afterwards with the Buccaneers, 49ers, Falcons, Browns, and Vikings for a total of 7 NFL teams in 5 years. And with Rosen not receiving another opportunity in the 2023 season, his career was effectively over. I loved Josh Rosen coming out of UCLA that year. He had prototypical size, elite accuracy, and good enough arm talent to be a decent NFL quarterback in my opinion. But more so, I actually loved his intangibles. The moxie, him standing up for his opinions, even if they were a bit outlandish, I guess. The fact that he chose economics as a major instead of something a little bit more, rudimentary. However, to better guarantee Rosen's success, I knew that he needed to be drafted by a team with a solid offensive line, as Rosen, a pure pocket passer, had issues of standing too long in the pocket and getting sacked, or worse, getting injured. On draft night, when Arizona picked him, I instantly lost all hope. While quarterbacks can improve their processing speed, throwing mechanics, and overall intuition of the game at the NFL level, athleticism is a trait that quarterbacks often never see improvement on at the NFL level. At the time, I thought Rosen's most ideal situation was landing with the Cleveland Browns at pick number 4, with them taking Bradley Chubb at number 1 to pair with 2017 first overall pick Myles Garrett. Alas, that scenario would never come to fruition. And while Rosen's NFL career began with a flurry of screams of excitement, it ended to the sound of nothing. Don't feel bad for Josh now, though, as even though his football career is over, he's currently an MBA candidate at the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. Ironically enough, Josh's maternal great-great-great-grandfather founded the Wharton School of Business, which is ranked as the #1 business school in the country. So, while Josh's mobility was constantly questioned when he was an NFL prospect, his exit strategy from football, starting as a student at the #1 business school in the United States, definitely has some legs to it. I believed in Josh Rosen. From the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, his career serves as a harsh reminder that sometimes things just don't pan out. But at least for Josh Rosen, I'm sure that never mattered, as hot tubs will always be there, whether you win or lose. Thanks for watching this video on the rise and fall of Josh Rosen, my first video on this channel. Please like and subscribe. If you're new around here, please, would really appreciate it. And we'll see you soon.